Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Faraday Academy. I just want to give a quick update from the conference that I've been attending this week. I'm at my hotel room in London filming this right now, and I gave my talk in the morning. And I want to recap some of the things that happened and some things that I learned from it. Some of them are little tweaks that I'm going to make, and some of them are bigger changes that I'm going to make to how I speak. I was planning on vlogging pieces of the conference and maybe doing some other cool things. That's why I brought this H5 microphone. But honestly, the camera that I was using on my 6-year-old phone wasn't very good. And I've known that for a while, so I just decided that I want a better camera next time. Also, I haven't really felt well since I got here, so I didn't have that much energy to really be too outgoing and friendly and talking to people and that kind of stuff. So, about the talk. I gave a talk in the first slot in the morning, which if you've been to a conference before, you know that that's always a little bit rough. Usually the attendees, the speakers, the organizers, just everyone involved with the conference will go out pretty much every night to the bars or to events to hang out and socialize. It's just part of the conference atmosphere, kind of. Which is definitely great for networking, but not so good if you want an awake audience in the morning talk. And I don't think I've given a morning talk in maybe like 4 years now, but I've definitely sat in a lot of morning talks where most of the audience was asleep. Just because of the late night, some people drink, some people don't. Most people don't get much sleep because they stay up so late. And I definitely experienced some of this during my talk. It was very, very low energy. And even as I was waiting at the podium to get the thumbs up, usually I'm up there for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes before my talk starts, just making sure all my tech is right and waiting for the clock to hit on the dot so I can start speaking. And I definitely noticed people already falling asleep, which was troublesome. And not just the audience, I was extremely tired. For some reason this trip I haven't been able to sleep very well since I got here. I just haven't felt well. I haven't felt very on top of myself. And in the morning, I was so low energy. I was just so tired. And I don't like to have coffee before my talks because I'm very sensitive to caffeine and I'm always worried that something is going to happen during the talk. So yeah, I felt like my energy was a problem. The audience definitely had low energy and I wasn't helping the situation at all. And I've noticed this with other morning speakers as well. Everything seems kind of dead and dry. Unless the speaker had experience as a stand-up comic or something, sometimes they can make it funny enough to keep people awake. But for a talk that's an hour long, it's just hard for anybody to pay attention for that amount of time, especially in the morning when you've had a late night. I'm not a drinker. I actually don't drink at all. And the night before, I actually went to bed at about 11 p.m. So I wasn't even up late. I just really couldn't fall asleep. Another small mistake that I made with this talk is that for some reason I wore a wool suit jacket. I've been trying to dress a little bit nicer when I give talks, look professional, because I do represent the conference and they were nice enough to invite me out to speak. So I just want to reflect that in how I dress. But I chose to wear a wool suit jacket, which I thought might be fine because it's wintertime, so I packed 2 wool suit jackets, including this one. But I actually wore my thicker one, which is, you can't really tell how thick this is, but this is moderately thick. And my other one is about 4 times as thick. It was cold in the morning, so I thought it would be fine for the talk, but 2 minutes before the talk, I could feel myself sweating already, and I knew that it was a mistake. I was very hot and overheated, and with not feeling well, being tired, feeling hot, and then on top of that, I just let the level of energy in the room and my nervousness get the best of me, and I really started to get in my own head. And even though I practiced the talk several times, I had some people help me. I had a good friend of mine review my slides and go over them and fix some things. It still didn't really come out the way I want, and I'm kind of bummed about it, really. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I've been working on my speaking skills a lot for the last couple years, trying to get better. And I've definitely improved a lot, and I don't think that this talk demonstrated how far I've come in my speaking abilities. So I'm a little bit frustrated, kind of disappointed about it, but there's nothing that I can do now. I have a whole list of notes of things that I'm going to try to do better next time. and I signed up to give this talk a few more times, starting at local meetups so I can kind of fix a few things. And I also just read a book called Why We Sleep, and the author covers jet lag and how to deal with it. And so I'm going to try a couple things for the next trip, including taking melatonin, so I can adjust better to the jet lag, because I really haven't adjusted and it's been almost a week now. So that's also been a little bit frustrating for me, that I just feel like I cannot get enough sleep here. Another thing that I'm trying to remember is that I'm competing against myself. I went to a bunch of other talks and saw speakers all the way across the board, from inexperienced to very experienced. And some of them are just so amazing that it makes me feel like, wow, how can I ever get to that level? And then I overhear some people talking about how they just made their slides and just came up with their talk like a few days before. And I just can't do that. If I don't work on my talk and practice my talk and think about my talk for a couple months, then I'm just not going to be able to wing it at all. So I just have to ignore those feelings and remind myself that I'm competing against myself, trying to get better, trying to be the best that I can be. I want to be a much better speaker. And even though my cadence was off and I kept forgetting my transitions, it really wasn't flowing that well. But I just have to pick it up from here and do better next time. One great positive was that after the talk, I actually talked to a lot of people about Vue.js, which was the topic of my talk, about architectures and the ecosystem and all different kinds of things. And I feel like that was a lot more helpful and went much better than the talk itself. A few other things that I'm doing to improve. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I took several improv classes last year to become more comfortable in front of people and help with my social interactions, which it definitely has. And this year I'm actually going to try a stand-up class, because I've noticed, and as I talk to a lot of other speakers, some of the best speakers have actually dabbled in stand-up comedy. And you can really see that it helps them, or that experience of stand-up comedy has helped them be able to feel and react to their audience that they have and keep them engaged as well. So that's something I'm definitely going to try out this year. I'm a little bit nervous about it because I am just not a funny person at all, but anybody can really tell some nerdy jokes. So I'm sure I'll be able to pull it off once I learn a little bit more about how to do it. I've learned a lot here. I appreciate the conference bringing me here. I have a lot of things that I need to work on when I get back, and I know that I can do much better next time. And overall, I'm going to use this disappointment about how my talk turned out to just become a better speaker and, give it my all at these next few meetups, keep iterating, and then go to another conference. Another thing that I've realized, not just at this conference, but probably over the last year, is that I'm naturally much better at workshop style formats, at interactive formats. It's extremely difficult to just talk at someone for an hour. But if you talk at them for 5 minutes and then they do an activity and then there's some kind of communication or interaction between you, that really doesn't intimidate me at all. So I'm weighing whether I want to do more workshop style events or more talks in the future, depending on how this improv and how these next talks at the upcoming meetups go. I'm going to make my decision. One cool thing that I've noticed conferences start to do, or at least the conferences that I've been attending, is include mini 2-hour workshops during the talk sessions. So in case you aren't familiar with conference schedules, most conferences that are 3 to 5 days long will have 1 to 2 days of workshops, usually before the conference starts. And so if you apply to give a workshop, you're usually giving a full day workshop or a 2-day long workshop. And some conferences will let you do a half-day workshop. But they've started doing mini workshops, so the last 2 or 3 days of the actual conference is usually just filled with 30-minute or 1-hour talks, depending on the conference. But now they're starting to do 2-hour workshops during those talk days. So if you didn't want to give a talk, you could do a more interactive format and do kind of like a mini workshop. And I'm seriously considering doing that in the future because I know that I'm much better at that format. There will be much more interaction and we'll still get a little break in the middle. So it would be kind of 1 hour and then 1 more hour of workshop. So those are all things that I'm trying moving forward. So if you've had an experience with speaking at a meetup or a conference that you'd like to share, please leave it in a comment below. Whether it was good or bad, I would love to hear your experience so we can all help each other as speakers. Thank you so much for watching. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to see more programming related videos, tutorials, and lots of other content coming up soon. I will be home in a few days and I'm so excited to, 1, get some sleep, but 2, start live streaming and creating more content and get back to my regular routine after this. I am absolutely exhausted right now, so I am going to call it a night and edit this tomorrow and hopefully publish it somewhere during my journey home from here. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.